Hello, Team Chesterfield. My name is Tim Bullis, and I work with Chesterfield County Public Schools Communications and Community Engagement team. We appreciate you joining us today for this special program. 2 weeks ago, we moved our clocks up an hour to spring forward. Little did we know that we'd end up in the twilight zone instead of daylight savings time. We acknowledged last week that these are unprecedented times, and that unprecedented times call for unprecedented decisions. This past week plus has been a whirlwind. And here we are on March 25th, 2 days after the governor announced that schools would be closed for the year. The breakneck speed at which things have been changing has created the need for quick decisions, and these quick decisions have resulted in lots of questions, many for which we still don't have final answers. One of the constituent groups that has been impacted the most is our high school seniors, the class of 2020. During the past 48 hours, we've received questions and statements like, when will my child's prom be? When will my child graduate? When and how? And don't let the class of 2020 just disappear. While we don't have all of the answers yet, we're here today to let you know that we don't plan to let the class of 2020 just disappear into thin air. Here to talk about that today is our superintendent, Dr. Daugherty. Dr. Daugherty, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you for your leadership during this time. This is an unprecedented time for Chesterfield County Public Schools and for public education as a whole. Thanks to your leadership, we had the foresight to close school the Friday before they were closed for good to give our teachers some time to plan. What was your thinking going into that time period? What did you expect to happen? And tell us about what you wanted to accomplish during that time.
Well, the one good thing about being a superintendent for over 11 years and my 12th year is you get to have connections around the areas and regions in the country. And we were hearing that the virus was gaining speed. There was a lot of concern about the schools. And in other parts of the country, we knew that they were going temporary closings. And we believed that this was coming the following week. So we wanted to give our teachers time to prepare the first set of instructional materials, get everything ready. And as we know, that weekend the governor closed the schools, and I just think we were really blessed by being prepared in that sense to have our teachers ready, give our administrators time, and help us get ahead of the curve and start a process where now every week we set up a set of lessons for our young men and women to have.
Each day that the state rolls out new information, it seems like the situation grows worse. At what point did you start thinking that this closure might last longer than the 2 weeks that were originally projected, and how long did you think it might ultimately be for?
Well, as you noticed, if parents noticed, we actually closed for additional 2 weeks before the governor announced. It's because we realized the effect it was having in our community. Looking at what's going on around the world and listening to the researchers, we had a strong belief that the guidelines from the CDC were probably going to be followed. We didn't think they were going to be followed to the maximum extent that the governor announced, but we thought anywhere from 4 to 6 additional weeks we would be out. And then the ultimate point of the governor making this past week that we would be closed for the rest of the year is just in line with the CDC guidelines that were to the end of basically a 20-week period.
So then the governor steps to the podium and announces with 53 days left in the school year that the school year was over. What were your initial thoughts? Obviously, a lot of logistics start running through your minds. Take us into your head at that point.
I'm not sure you want to go there, Tim. Well, first of all, we had been planning on 2-week intervals, and we were very confident. Principals, school administrators doing a great job. Teachers were really thinking outside the box of trying to get lessons, because as we were instructed, keep the content as a review. Do not go into new content at this time. Once the announcement was made, as you know, we automatically shifted our focus and, okay, how do we now instruct for the rest of the year? It's an easy thing to say. It's an almost impossible thing to try to do. As a large school district and the complexity of all of our students, and thinking of all of our students from our kindergarten students, even our pre-K, what's going to happen to them, to the opportunities into our high school students, and our students who are coming back for GED. And there are a lot of pieces when you're looking at over 63,000 young men and women that we are responsible for, as well as thinking about how do we prepare our teachers and keep them motivated and just keep their spirits up, knowing that they're missing their children. They're missing the young men and women that come in every day, and that's that relationship piece that's extremely hard when you're isolated. And so our point to go into the mode of let's not rush to judgment, but how do we make sure that we have a plan for the rest of the year? And I think that's one of the areas that our region is going to be strong about, is about we are meeting regularly with all the Region 1 superintendents to talk about a plan.
Obviously, this news was devastating to our high school seniors, the class of 2020. They've waited 13 years for this moment. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What would you tell them now if they were in front of you?
Challenging question. Just thinking about especially your senior year, the last semester is a really exciting time. You're getting your yearbooks, you have proms, you're looking forward to graduation. You're looking at a conclusion to a process that starts your next opportunities and next career, next educational path forward. I would tell them, one, I am extremely sorry and saddened that you're having to go through this. I wish we could do more to help you with the feelings you have and the pain you're going through, and even the opportunities that you're missing in learning. But I would tell you that we are thinking about you every day. We are looking to make sure that you end the school year strong. We are looking in ways that we can make sure that this is not a lost time, just a bump in the road, that you'll look back on it and grow stronger from it.
Dr. Daugherty, the set of questions we've gotten most since the school year was prematurely ended largely revolved around this group and has to do a lot with what you were just talking about. Are we looking at the possibility of trying to hold proms later this summer? What about graduation? What's next for these big scale events that these students were really looking forward to?
We've had beginning conversations with our high school principals about proms, about graduations. The difficult challenge is, when will the mandates be lifted? When will the quarantines be lifted? We will keep the dates with VCU and VSU until the very end, if we have to cancel, we will cancel. We've discussed the opportunity of looking at the first week of August, if it runs to that point of having graduations, and trying to secure venues, and they may even be at the schools. We think graduations are extremely important for our young men and women, but to try to pinpoint a date right now is just about impossible. Proms, I was kidding with the principals about, hey, what about a July or August prom? And I think the conversation is still going on, because venues you have to secure almost a year in advance, and how to make sure that experience occurs. We talked about yearbooks and how students can come by and pick up their yearbooks. How do they turn in their laptops, for example? How do they get their diplomas if we can't have a graduation? Our goal is to try to keep some of the experiences that they have as seniors intact. We just don't know when they will occur because of the timing of the virus and the governor's orders.
So let's be clear, the school year is not over. All hope is not lost for these events. It's our intention to honor and recognize these students like they deserve.
Absolutely. Just because we're not meeting in the schools doesn't mean we're not pushing out information. And even when we push out new content, not everything's graded, but it is actually to enhance their learning experience and to prepare them into the next, either the step of life that they're going to. So we have to realize that the seniors, your school year still is continuing. It's just that teachers now reaching out to you through multiple methods of media.
The class of 2020 is a special one. They've left a lasting impression on staff members and at many schools. What should they be proud of, and how should they be remembered?
Well, to answer that question, first we have to remember that when we go through trials and difficulties in our life, it's not the trial or difficulty that really defines who you are. It's how you respond to that issue, that event, that really defines your character and really continues you in a path forward of life. And so we've tried to tell everybody, be patient, remain calm, allow people to do their job. But I think this class is going to be remembered at their schools for just the amazing accomplishments in academics and sports, in great citizenship, as we've seen in students, as I get to go around to the schools and give awards, to they're leaving not because of an issue, and their legacy isn't because of what's happened. It's that time, those 4 years they were in school, that legacies are built. And speaking with principals and teachers, and they are very hopeful to see these young men and women again before they go off to college or go off to work or before the graduation. Only time will tell in that manner. But I think this is a very strong class, a class that's not only academically but also emotionally, that they're going to gain from these experiences. I'm going to just ask each senior that they just remember they're building their legacy now. They're building their character. What you remember them is how they finish strong, even in their academics, even when no one's watching. That's a strong character. I'm going to do what's right and do it well. And just to encourage them to push forward and set a strong path for their underclassmen.
This particular graduating class was born in the shadow of 9/11, graduates in the shadow of a pandemic virus, yet they've accomplished so much in between. For those who may not be able to be with us when we eventually hold that graduation ceremony, what would you say to this particular class?
Well, as I try to speak with every graduating class, I talk about their attitude, and what is their attitude in life. Pick a good one. I always tell people, one that's positive, because the positive outputs that you give people, the attitude that you have towards others, draws people to you. You never want to push people away. And if I were never had a chance to see any of the seniors again, I would give that same message to everyone right now: is really think about how you can help others. Always be a servant to those around you. We can all talk about all the things that aren't going well in our life, but we can always look to help other people. I think we have the senior class is like this. I think they really are service-minded. I think they are out there. I see a lot of times where they're out in the community having fundraisers for other people, for other countries, for things going on in organizations. And the opportunity to have that strong attitude. And I always remind young men and women as they graduate from our schools to be a person of great integrity, that people can rely on you and that your word means a lot. And I think this is a trying time where their integrity can really be fortified as a strong one if they decide to go that way and then choose that I'm going to lead by my example as a positive way, that other people will see that I'm very serious about my education, but also about being a strong leader in my community.
Nicely stated, Dr. Daugherty. Thank you for taking time today to share with us your thoughts about the class of 2020. As we wrap up today, we offer our congratulations to the class of 2020 and hope that you will hang in there with us as we attempt to give you that fitting send-off you deserve. As we head out, know that folks are watching how you handle the adversity that has been thrown your way. And remember this quote: "Your education is a dress rehearsal for the life that is yours to lead." Stay safe and be well.